Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very happy to talk about data privacy today here at Thales. So at Thales DIS, so Digital Identity and Security, I'm in charge of the Innovation Lab. So we are here to launch new products, looking at trends in the ecosystem from a usage perspective, technology perspective, and also market. So what's important when we look at data is that there is data everywhere with different type of sensitivity. And the difficulty now is really to be able to know what is important as data and what does the user care about. So how many data types do we have? So we have two main families of data. The first one is really the data you produce, so the pictures and the data which defines you, your mail address, your payment credentials, your credit card number. And there is also an even bigger number of data which is being produced and even unknown from the user, which is the traces that we are leaving when we are online. So probably it's an iceberg model. So we have the data we produce on the top, and below we have this huge number of data. And depending where we are, the sensitivity goes up and down also. And what's important is that the amount also does increase the sensibility. For example, if we look at contextual data, we can define more or less who you are because we know what device you use, what access point you're connected to, and all those contextual data can be used to authentify yourself. And so what's important and how does it matter to you, entrepreneurs and developers, how you want to secure those data? So there is some big trends, of course. The first one is to be sure you have a need-to-know basis when you define your rights, meaning that really the people that need to know and need to have access to the data have it. So this is called adaptive authentication, meaning that depending on the context, depending on the user, depending on the use case, you're going to restrict or not the access to the data. Also, big trend we are seeing around identification is regarding biometry. Of course, it's adding insurance and assurance level to your authentication. So we are able to know if the digital user that is logging and using the service is also linked to a physical user. And also we see trends also linking it to a civilian user. How do you prove that you are who you are in front of the state, in front of the law? And this is definitely elements that are increasing the level of assurance and the type of identity. So finally, a few tips on how to secure your data and what's important when you do manage user data. So the first one is really making sure you know what's there and you're addressing it at the right level of protection. So there is access management, there is ciphering that you should put in place for your data. Second is to know how does data should be located. There is a lot of discussion around sovereignty of data. Your users are in Europe, the data should be in Europe. It should be protected as a right level. And finally, last point is very important to select the right partners and the right technology stack to make sure that they also comply with what you expect for the usage of this data. And in the end, as the awareness from the user is growing in terms of data, that's really us to take it in advance and you entrepreneurs to take it in advance and to make data privacy as a competitive advantage. Thank you very much.